Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. According to the latest General Hospital, GH, spoilers on Wednesday, July 22nd, Cassius Faison's, Ryan Pavey, name will be cleared of one specific crime. Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, will also ask Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, a question, while Curtis Ashford, Donnell Turner, requests a favor from Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr. On Wednesday's episode, Michael will run into Jordan, who appears to be about to shock him, with a confession. Jordan may bring up Jen Sidwell's, Carlo Rhoda, offer to undertake his dirty labor in exchange for restoring her attractiveness. Sidwell persisted on getting Jordan into the pricey facility where physicians performed miracles for Michael in Germany, but she declined. Michael will challenge Jordan about if she is second-guessing her decision, so she will be forced to answer a tough question regarding any regrets. Is there any chance Michael could use his own connections to move Jordan to the front of the line? The clinic is exceedingly elite, thus Michael had to rely on Jack Brennan's, Chris McKenna, help when he initially became a patient. However, now that he has been treated there, Michael may have some influence to wield, so we'll see what he has to say about it all. Curtis will continue to adore the baby at GH, eventually asking if he may spend the night at Portia's house for their child's first night out of the hospital. Portia will not be pleased with Curtis' suggestion and may claim that he is going too far. Will Portia give in to Curtis' demands, or will she remain firm in establishing boundaries? Regardless, Curtis is about to receive a surprise. At the Quartermain estate, it appears that Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens-Bruning, may agree with Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, on allowing Charlotte Cassadine, Bluesy Burke, to live with Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, at least some of the time. Lulu won't be delighted with the prospect of making a deal with Valentine, but she may understand that it's important if she wants to make amends with Charlotte. Someone will help give Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thibault, a severe lesson. Britt will hear what she needs to hear, whether Lucas Jones, Van Hansis, delivers tough advice or Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, does. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, will speak with Brennan about the missing evidence in the Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawks case, speculating that Cassius was the one who pulled the shot that night. Anna may believe Cassius killed Cullum and destroyed any evidence while posing as Detective Nathan West, Ryan Pavey. Of course, GH fans know that Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, fired at Cullum on the dock, so Brennan will claim Cassius is not to blame. Jack will say it with enough surety to make Anna suspicious, but he may try to discourage her from pursuing it. Nevertheless, Rocco's secret will cause some police drama this summer, but he'll get out of it eventually. Meanwhile, Dante's choice to destroy the evidence and cover up Rocco's activities could get him in hot water as well. Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, will meet with Valentine in her kitchen to discuss a handoff plan involving the black box. Carly will be concerned that Brennan will wipe Valentine off the map once he reclaims control of the box, but Valentine will devise a plan to ensure his survival. According to General Hospital spoilers, Brennan will not be pleased with the outcome once Valentine bargains with him, so don't miss the shocking news that will be revealed soon. The crowded corridors of General Hospital hummed with the usual combination of tension and unsaid secrets that typified Port Charles life. On this Wednesday, July 22nd, the weight of previous events weighed heavily on everyone involved, particularly in the aftermath of the Pierce shooting, which had upended so many lives. Cassius Faison, once thought guilty in the eyes of many, had his reputation suddenly cleared in a pivotal exchange that reverberated across the police department. Anna Devane stood opposite from Jack Brennan, her sharp eyes narrowing as she assembled the pieces of the Ross Cullum case. Evidence had gone missing, and the story pointed directly at Cassius, who had been working undercover as Detective Nathan West. On the surface, it made rational sense. Cassius had every incentive to silence Cullum following the commotion on Spoon Island, the gunfire, and the revelations regarding Britt's fabricated diagnosis. But Brennan leaned back in his chair, his demeanor enigmatic but resolute, asserting that Cassius didn't pull the gun that night. He's not to blame, Brennan stated with enough assurance to sow doubt in Anna's mind. She pressed him, her voice tinged with mistrust, wondering why he appeared so certain. The real shooter, young Rocco Falconeri, remained a closely guarded secret, one that Dante had gone to great measures to keep hidden by disposing of the evidence. This clearance for Cassius did not end the drama. Rather, it redirected it, promising additional police involvement as the summer progressed. Dante, who was already treading a narrow line, could feel the walls closing in, knowing that his cover-up was about to unravel. Meanwhile, across town at the Quartermain estate, family dynamics were evolving in subtle but seismic ways. Lulu Spencer struggled with her emotions as she contemplated Dante's counsel on Charlotte Cassadine. Allowing Charlotte to spend time with her father, Valentine Cassadine, was a difficult decision, but Lulu saw it as crucial for mending the broken link with her daughter. Charlotte had been through enough upheaval, and reaching a reluctant agreement with Valentine might be the only way ahead. Lulu walked the room, her mind reliving recollections of previous Cassadine betrayals, but she prepared herself for the conversation ahead. It was not forgiveness. Rather, it was practicality clothed in motherly love. Valentine, ever the planner, would undoubtedly grasp the chance, but Lulu swore to establish firm boundaries. The estate resonated with the hushed footsteps of staff, a reminder that even in a position of affluence, calm was difficult to achieve. Emotions ran high in the hospital's maternity unit. Curtis Ashford hovered close to the newborn, his expression softening with each coo and slight movement. This was the baby's first night home after a difficult start, and Curtis couldn't resist the impulse to be fully there. He turned to Portia Robinson, his voice quiet but firm, and asked if he may spend the night at her place, just for the sake of the child. "Since this is baby's first night home, maybe I can stay too," he proposed, hoping that the shared milestone might bridge their emotional divide. Portia paused, her professional demeanor crumbling under the personal weight. She adored their child, but Curtis' request felt like an overstep, a challenge to the limits she'd painstakingly set. Would she give in to his request, allowing for a short truce in their complicated co-parenting, or would she stay fast to preserve her heart? Curtis's surprise loomed unspoken, possibly a revelation or an external force that would put their delicate equilibrium to the strain even further. Portia evaluated her alternatives as the hospital lights cast dark shadows over her conflicted features. Michael Corinthos ran into Jordan Ashford nearby at a critical juncture. Jordan bore the brunt of Jen Sidwell's new proposal, a bargain that offered to restore her attractiveness through an elite clinic in exchange for completing his dirty deed. She had turned it down, yet the urge persisted like a ghost. Michael, who had recently had transformative treatment at the same clinic because to Jack Brennan's contacts, detected her distress right once. Their talk became more probing as Michael asked the burning topic on his mind. Did she have any regrets over rejecting Sidwell's proposal? Jordan's answer was measured, suggesting an internal conflict between her beliefs and the appeal of physical rejuvenation. The clinic was extremely selective, with miracles saved for the few who passed through its privileged gates. Michael, now an alumnus, wondered if his newfound influence could help Jordan move to the front of the queue without jeopardizing her integrity. "Why is that?" he inquired gently, seeking clarification on her assurance. Their conversation touched on issues of self-worth, second chances, and the expensive cost of dealing with mysterious characters like Sidwell. Michael's concern arose from his own journey, the suffering, the recuperation, and the unexpected opportunities it provided. He provided calm encouragement, hinting at possibilities without putting Jordan under any strain, allowing him to dwell on missed opportunities. Britt Westbourne, in another wing, was facing her own reckoning. The impact of her adventure with Cullum and the poisoned vials continued to haunt her, but today she received a harsh lesson from an unexpected source. Whether Lucas Jones delivered hard facts about going forward or Elizabeth Baldwin provided sympathetic yet strong direction, Britt absorbed the words she needed to hear. Her fortitude had been challenged by a phony Huntington's diagnosis, betrayal by her own brother in ways she was only beginning to understand, and the struggle for survival. The lesson focused on recovering agency and refusing to allow previous manipulations shape her future. Britt sat in a quiet room, pondering the advice, her thoughts returning to the island chaos, where Jocelyn had played a heroic role in the firefight. Britt was resolved to emerge stronger from Port Charles, possibly reconnecting with family members like Albrecht in important ways. The hospital hummed around her, a constant reminder that recovery was a multidimensional process, physical, emotional, and interpersonal. Back in Carly Spencer's kitchen, the stakes rose to the level of intense intrigue. Carly met with Valentine to negotiate the transfer of the mysterious black box, her face etched with deadly anxiety. Handing it over to Brennan may spell Valentine's demise, a wipeout from the map if the powerful figure reclaimed control. What's to stop Brennan from killing me as soon as he gets the box? Valentine realized the danger, but devised a determined plan to protect his survival. Carly listened closely, her loyalty to friends and family keeping her cautious. Valentine's strategy included layers of defense, negotiating chips, and contingencies that only Cassidy could conceive. The conversation was fraught with tension, highlighting the perilous relationships forming in Port Charles. Brennan was not going to like the outcome, and the shocking news on the horizon threatened to rock foundations once again. Carly's kitchen, which was usually a gathering place for emotional conversations and coffee, was transformed into a battle room of strategy and survival. As the day progressed, links emerged between each storyline. Michael's conversation with Jordan echoed bigger themes of redemption and medical miracles, which mirrored Britt's recovery story. Curtis' plea to Portia exemplified the delicate dance of family, much like Lulu's hesitant conversations with Valentine about Charlotte. The release of Cassius removed one shroud of mystery, while casting other ones, particularly over Dante and Rocco's secret. Port Charles never slept, and its citizens faced love, betrayal, health crises, and criminal undercurrents with tenacity born of necessity. Michael lingered after his conversation with Jordan, his thoughts turning to his own children and the custody fights that had characterized his existence. The clinic experience had transformed him physiologically and possibly mentally, giving him new perspective on vulnerability. He questioned whether using his contacts for Jordan was consistent with his ideals or risked drawing her into Sidwell's web. Jordan, for her part, appreciated the real concern, which is unusual in her profession of law enforcement and personal sacrifices. Their nagging question remained unanswered, but it opened the possibility to future partnerships or deeper connections. Curtis, unaffected by Portia's uncertainty, concentrated on the baby's requirements. The surprise that awaited him, whether it was a visit, a discovery about familial relations, or an external obstacle, added layers to his request. Portia's boundaries were more than simply personal. They shielded their child from the turmoil that had pervaded their relationship. However, the allure of first-night rituals tugged at her emotions. In the quiet moments, she imagined what co-parenting could be like if trust was gradually rebuilt. Lulu's decision-making process went beyond the immediate. Charlotte's well-being depended on stability, and Valentine, despite his failings, provided a link to her roots. Lulu's agreement was not surrender, but rather a deliberate compromise that may promote healing for all parties concerned. Dante's words held the weight of his own paternal instincts, especially when Rocco's secret acts cast a shadow. Britt's lesson had a profound impact. After the horrors of the island, Cullum's confessions, the gunfight, Jocelyn's bravery, Britt needed reminders that survival wasn't enough. Thriving required addressing the truth. Lucas or Elizabeth's comments break through the denial, encouraging her to forgive herself and move on. Britt envisioned new beginnings, possibly in medicine or personal reinvention, away from phase-on legacies. The black box mystery connected disparate threads. Carly's concern for Valentine reflected broader concerns about Brennan's reach. Valentine's complicated and dangerous technique represented the high-wire feats that Port Charles people undertake on a regular basis. The handoff would put loyalty to the test, with consequences that may damage Anna's inquiry, Dante's cover-up, and possibly Michael's world. As evening fell, the characters converged in spirit, if not location. Cassius' release freed up investigation resources, allowing Anna to delve deeper into Brennan's assertions. Michael's query to Jordan generated ideas for aid, combining personal concern with practical influence. Curtis' unexpected request taxed Portia's resolve and promised emotional explosions. Each element contributed to bigger arcs, custody resolutions, medicinal discoveries, criminal reckonings, and love entanglements. In the end, Port Charles thrived at these crossroads. Secrets were revealed like Cassius' name, questions blazed like Michael's, and surprises awaited like Curtis. The town's heartbeat was filled with drama, love, and the unwavering optimism that tomorrow would bring closure to the tumult. Residents relied on one another, formed odd connections, and confronted challenges head-on, exhibiting the soap opera essence that drew viewers. The day's events, while limited, foreshadowed waves to come, guaranteeing that no one story stayed static for long. Port Charles awoke to another day of revelations, surprising alliances and lingering suspicions, with numerous citizens facing vital decisions. Cassius was at the center of the current developments, his name having been dragged through debate and suspicion for days. Rumors immediately spread throughout town, leading many to believe he was involved in the recent chaos. However, new material arrived, significantly shifting the story and providing him with much-needed comfort. Authorities confirmed that evidence originally thought to accuse Cassius was either incomplete or completely deceptive. Witness accounts and newly discovered details created a totally different image, one that proved his innocence. The announcement astounded many neighbors, particularly those who had already negatively criticized him. Curtis was one of those paying close attention to the developments. Although he remained skeptical about the claims, he conceded that the town's reaction to Cassius had been unnerving. Now that Cassius had been formally cleared, Curtis began to evaluate some recent events. Cassius strained to digest the news. While vindication should have brought him immediate delight, he was nonetheless frustrated by the damage that had already been done. Relationships were strained, trust was broken, and his reputation suffered greatly. Several friends approached him and apologized for questioning him. Some replies were sincere, while others looked motivated by remorse and self-preservation. Cassius respectfully accepted their remarks, but he knew it would take time to re-establish trust. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos was distracted by a question that would not leave his head. Recent incidents had made him increasingly nervous, and the more he thought about them, the more certain he grew that something important was being kept hidden from him. Michael had never been one to accept half-truths, especially when they concerned individuals he cared about. His concerns revolved around a riddle that appeared to link several recent instances. Some conversations did not add up. Specific reactions from family members appeared oddly defensive. Even innocuous statements had begun to raise his concerns. Unable to ignore his intuition any longer, Michael decided to start asking challenging questions. He addressed each person personally, hoping that someone would unwittingly divulge information. Instead, he experienced hesitancy and nervousness. The reactions only heightened his anxieties. One person stated there was nothing to worry about while avoiding eye contact completely. Another sought to divert the subject several times. Michael saw these comments as confirmation that a secret existed. As he put together shards of knowledge, one burning question stood out above the rest. What exactly had happened while he was preoccupied with other family matters? Michael's determination became greater by the hour. He recognized that disclosing the truth may cause conflict, but he also thought that secrets rarely remained hidden indefinitely. Carly, on the other hand, was preoccupied with Michael's actions. She knew better than most that Michael had inherited his father's perseverance. Nothing could stop him from seeking answers once he got started. Carly was concerned that his inquiry may reveal information that many people desired to keep hidden. The timing could not have been worse, given the Corinthos family's pre-existing instability. She pondered intervening personally, possibly encouraging Michael to put certain matters aside. But she also knew that pushing too hard could have the opposite effect. Michael had never enjoyed being manipulated. The Metro Court's atmosphere was dominated by discussions regarding Cassius' exoneration. Residents who had previously whispered accusations now talked about how easy misconceptions may ruin lives. Nina expressed sympathy for Cassius' plight, remarking that public opinion frequently came before facts. Others quietly agreed. However, not everyone was fully satisfied with the scenario. Several others questioned whether all of the pieces of the puzzle had been discovered. Although Cassius had been formally cleared, some people had lingering reservations. Port Charles had seen too many startling twists to fully trust looks. Meanwhile, Curtis was met with a quite different surprise. After getting unexpected facts, he realized that his previous assumptions about one specific case had been erroneous. The revelation made him reevaluate several relationships and priorities. Curtis was dealing with a lot of obligations, including family commitments and career issues. The new revelation threatened to muddle matters even more. Initially, he was unsure how to answer. Part of him desired immediate answers. Another group believed that pursuing the case too aggressively might result in even more complications. As he planned his next step, an unexpected guest arrived with further information. Curtis was completely taken aback by what happened next. What he discovered indicated that certain events happening around him were significantly more interrelated than he had anticipated. Somebody had been holding secrets. Someone had made strategic judgments without his awareness. And such decisions could have long-term ramifications. Curtis instantly began to assess whom he could trust. His instincts warned him that he needed to proceed carefully. At the same time, he realized that waiting too long may be equally deadly. The revelation also had personal consequences, possibly harming people he cared strongly about. As the knowledge dawned on Curtis, he found himself at a crossroads. Should he immediately approach those involved? Should he obtain further information before making any accusations? The decision would not be simple. Across town, Jordan sensed tensions rising again. Her law enforcement background had taught her to identify warning signs, and numerous recent incidents appeared suspect. The fact that Cassius had been cleared should have offered closure, but Jordan sensed the story was not ended. If Cassius was innocent, attention needed to be directed elsewhere. Who profited from the accusations made against him? Who had wanted to discredit him? Those questions continued to bother her. Jordan quietly began investigating links that others may have overlooked. Her inquiry rapidly revealed irregularities that indicated ulterior agendas. Although she lacked concrete proof, she felt increasingly sure that another epiphany was on the way. Meanwhile, Sonny tried to concentrate on family issues, but the constant barrage of turmoil in Port Charles made peace nearly impossible. He was concerned about Michael's developing determination and recognized that tough truths frequently resulted in unforeseen repercussions. Sonny pondered speaking to his son personally, but he hesitated.